Passengers, I'd like to welcome you all back to Air Force One, servicing non-stop flights to Skyward Sword, Wind Waker, and beyond, all for the noble cause of lending our friend Happy Bear a hand. My name is TheKingsPride, but you can just call me Pride, and I'll be your flight attendant for the first leg of our journey through Skyloft and associated regions. Please expect a bumpy ride through the sky, a few layovers on the surface, and a couple of trips back in time. I'm being told by our captain that we're prepared for takeoff, so please board your locked wings, stow all carry-on luggage in your adventure pouch, and get ready for an incredible run of The Legend of Zelda Skyward Sword Any Percent by your pilot, PippyInATopHat. Take it away, Pippy.
Hello, everyone. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Skyward Sword SD Any Percent. We will be going skyward today. I hope y'all are having a great morning so far. So I do need to know what the name of our flight is before we take off. Because I'm assuming it's not hi smiley face. And that was a donation incentive. So let me know, Pride. What did we donate for?
Yes, indeed. The people have spoken, and our name is going to be Mortgage.
Yeah, we're mortgaging the loft wing. What's the capitalization on that?
It is capital M, Mortgage.
Capital M. All right, just give me a moment.
Lowercase.
While I'm typing this in, also, I do have a co-pilot for today's flight. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Yes, hello. My name is Floha. I will be co-piloting Pippy's run, so to say. And yeah, I haven't run this game in like 3 years or so. So I am perfectly capable of commentating anything that I am supposed to.
Perfect. Before we get started, I will note a couple of things. First of all, this is in Japanese. Japanese is the fastest language by a pretty significant margin. Like a minute or two, it's pretty egregious. For some reason, the text just scrolls faster in addition to there being less. It makes no sense. I don't get it. But also, we will be starting on a New Game Plus file. I actually have multiple New Game Plus files for this. And that's going to be for a couple reasons. Partially because we can skip cutscenes, and that's obviously fast. Also, because we have an upgraded Skyward Strike attack. We take more damage, and we get to play fun mini-games, which are cool and entertaining. I'm easily amused. And that is actually important parts of the run. Don't worry about it. This run is going to start at kind of a breakneck pace and is going to get a little weird, a little fast. So I hope y'all are ready. Are we ready for takeoff? Everyone's good?
We are ready.
Wonderful. Perfect. All right. Mortgage is about to go on an incredible adventure in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Begin the run. All right. So we're gonna start off by skipping a bunch of cutscenes because we can take advantage of that New Game Plus file immediately and immediately start doing random things.
Oh yes, random things are my favorite part of the run.
Yeah, so I'm gonna start performing some weird random tasks around Skyloft. The first thing I'm gonna do is go over here and talk to my friend Fledge. Not because I actually care about what Fledge has to say, though he does say mortgage a lot, but because I need to set some flags in memory, which is instantly welcome to a comp sci lecture. But we also will be going outside and immediately rescuing a remlet, which is like a little cat thing. And that is also a task we do not actually care about, but we do care about what it does to memory. So a flag in memory is anything that the game wants to remember. So anything that the game wants to remember if I should leave the screen I'm on and come back. Also, this person is teaching me how to play the video game while acknowledging that I'm in New Game Plus, so I should already know how to play. And then I skipped half his dialogue. Oopsies! Don't worry. This is just how this goes. But so we're going around basically writing notes for the game to remember about certain areas. And what we're going to be able to do a little bit later is, oh, Link, come on, is interpret those notes for the wrong area. So it wants to remember if I leave this area and come back that I have saved this cat. That my professor lost. He lost someone else's pet. But I can tell the game to look at that note from the wrong area, and it'll have some interesting effects. That sound about right?
Interesting sounds accurate.
Yeah. So we're gonna run up here now. Oops. And jump off a ledge. That's okay. So
This is the hardest trick in the game. Don't let anyone fool you.
Oh yes. Depth perception is my weakest skill. But we're gonna run up. So there's a door up there that is closed, and on the other side of that door is the goddess sword, which is supposed to be the second sword you would get casually. Now there's nothing stopping me from going into that room and picking up that sword, except for the fact that that door exists, which is really unfortunate that that door is there and I can't open it. So instead I got interested in a post, and
Streamer,
I
you
died.
died.
Oh no. Oh no, what are we gonna do now?
Oh no, I might as well.
I think we gotta reset the run.
Yeah, that sounds about right. It's the beginning, right? Everybody ready to start over our adventure with Mortgage?
Honestly, just hit reset on your Wii.
That sounds perfect.
Hi, welcome to the title screen. Mandatory bit has been achieved.
Let's go.
That pun unintended. So welcome to Back in Time. So what I did there was hit continue, and then immediately afterwards hit the reset button on my Wii console, which has placed Link on the title screen. This has some fun effects. We are actually on the version of the Skyloft map that you would see spinning slowly in the background when the splash screen is up on the like main title screen. But we can have the file screen up for the entire time, and we can do things like what I just did, which was called a bit save or a back in time save, where I saved my file on the title screen. And this map has some quirks. As you noticed, the door that I was complaining about earlier doesn't exist here. This sword is mine now. Except it's not. I'm borrowing it. But I can just walk in and pick up the sword. So what I did in bit saving, though, was make it so that the next time I start file 1, oh, Link. There you go. Point sword upward. And next time I start file 1, it's gonna start my file where I bit saved it on the map that we are on the title screen, instead of where it had been saved previously, which means it's gonna start on this map that doesn't have a door there. So I can just walk back in and pick up that sword again if I want to. And as it turns out, I do, because there's actually a safety mechanism in place in this game that prevents us from making changes to our file on the title screen. Whenever I hit start, it's going to instantly revert all of my files. However, if I hit start and then there's a change to my file made, that's going to last. If as long as it's during that fade out animation, that's after it reverts the files. So that's free. So I picked up the sword before I hit start, but I watched that pillar of light form up after I hit start. And that pillar of light, that whole cutscene has a flag attached to it that is going to give us access to the Farron region, which is the place we want to go, and is much longer to do again outside of Back in Time than just picking up the sword. So hey, I have a sword again. We've never seen this before, right?
Nope.
Now, I would like some confirmation that I actually hit the trick. So we're gonna strike this pedestal where I put down the emerald tablet, which is supposed to, you know, make the thing work. Oh, hey, look! It's already there. Convenient. So that actually, as an item, you do not have to place that. It just checks that you have access to the Farron region, which is the first region of the game. And if you have access to it, it spawns that tablet there. So we only have to place that once.
Yeah.
And
interestingly, now the game plays the cutscene of where we would meet Zelda for the first time. You know, right after the beginning, even though we technically have progressed way further in the story by already getting the goddess sword. But hey, no, we gotta do things. We gotta get all the things in here that makes a beautiful Zelda cutscene.
We will also be going around and watching a couple of cutscenes now. I hope y'all are ready to meet Groose. This is Groose. Goodbye, Groose. And now we're going to do one of my favorite mandatory parts of the run, and I'm going to need some viewer participation for this. So I am going to judge a woman's furniture. And you're welcome to judge her furniture at home. We're going to enter her house. We are speedrunners, so we're going to have to do it quite fast. Are you ready to judge her furniture? Wow. All right, how did we do?
Solid 7.
Likes a bit in taste.
Yeah, I can see that. So that was mandatory, as I said. So leaving that woman's house places a flag in memory that tells the game to label her door. And labeling her door is another flag that we're going to abuse later. So I did have to enter her house and then leave. I love this route.
Our passengers have said that they would mortgage that furniture.
Oh, okay. Goodbye, furniture. I hope y'all are ready for one of the best things that you purchased in purchasing the name Mortgage. Now, whatever name we set for our file name, we can make Zelda shout out loud as she soars across the sky, coming up in just a moment. So I hope you're ready for Mortgage. It's one of the best text boxes in the game. My other favorite... Oh, there we go!
Mortgage!
Mortgage.
My other favorite being Sky.
Yeah. She's very concerned about real estate.
She is. So, as we said, we were watching some cutscenes. What we're trying to accomplish is something a little bit silly right now. So our goal is to enter the Loftwing tutorial with the ability to jump off of our Loftwing already. Which means we have to have already been on our Loftwing before we call our Loftwing for the first time. Because the first time we call our Loftwing, it's gonna enter the Loftwing tutorial. This seems nonsensical and like it shouldn't work. That's an interdependency. How do we do that? But with the magic of people who know how to route this game and some bit shenanigans, we can do that. But first we do have to save our Loftwing initially, which means we have to learn how to fly our Loftwing. This is an auto-scroller. So, hey Pride, if there's anything you would like to say to the passengers,
absolutely. Greetings, passengers, and welcome on board today's flight with service from the beginning to the end of the Loftwing flight tutorial. This will be a non-stop flight with no layovers to accommodate guavas. Our captains for today's flight will be PippyInATopHat and Floha, and I am the King's Pride, so please let us know if there's any way to assist you. We are currently next in line for takeoff and are expected to be in the air shortly. We ask that you please fasten your seatbelts and prepare your donations at this time. We also ask that your seats and tray tables are in the upright position for takeoff. Please turn off all personal electronic devices as that may scare the bird. We do, however, offer in-flight Wi-Fi. Thank you for choosing the Loftwing flight tutorial, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So I'm now going
what's
to
about
do
to
a
come,
yeah.
I like to call it the most brain damaging 10 minutes of the run or so.
We're gonna attempt to do a 2-frame trick. I might miss it. If I do, there's a backup. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I missed it. Don't worry about it.
Dang it.
For that trick, you have to press A 15 times a second. It's bad. It's the worst trick in the run. There's really no good visual or audio cue for it. But what we were trying to do was preload inputs to side hop out of a cutscene trigger so that we could jump off a cliff and die. But luckily, we have a backup that only takes about 30 seconds extra, 40, something like that. And that backup involves playing Donkey Kong. So, how do you feel about barrels?
Barrels are great.
I've never
Is Link
played
the
Donkey
leader of the bunch?
So I know that the
do we
newer
know him
Zeldas-
well is the question?
The newer Zeldas all have like this banana obsession from the. There we go.
Okay.
Barrel physics in this game makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, totally.
All right, now we can enter the gauntlet properly. So I'm going to focus a little bit. Hey, Floha, you want to explain file dupe Sky RBW?
I mean, it is very complicated. So basically, we're gonna do a lot of shenanigans here. So essentially, what we're trying to achieve in here is called a file dupe. Now, a file dupe kind of sounds like basically just copying a file over, and it kind of is. However, we're just basically copying some properties. Like, we're kind of keeping the fact that what we have is a new game file, but at the same time, we're like using this new game file, and we copied the fact basically that we did already call our Loftwing, and so we now have a new game file that is in the sky, and yeah.
Yep, so we are in the sky, but this is a new game. I hit start game for the first time. You can tell that worked because the suggested name was Mortgage. Oh, Guava, come here. That bird's name is Guava, and I don't like him.
He's quite rude.
But importantly, we triggered this Phi cutscene, which gets triggered the first time you have access to a pillar. And that Phi cutscene gives me the ability to jump off of my bird. However, I do not have the Loftwing flight tutorial, which I wanted. So I'm going to... That was actually very kind. Thank you, Guava. Crash into a bird a couple of times so I can death warp back to where I saved my file previously. Now, this is file 2, but this is actually a copy of file 3 because of that file dupe. So I saved file 3 over here previously, which means... Hey, what's that? What's up, Zelda? My Loftwing!
Oh my god, it's a Loftwing.
Who put that?
I have a slight deja vu in here.
Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna save my Loftwing again? Have we done
The
this
bank
already?
repossessed our Loftwing.
Oh my god. Now that we've saved our Loftwing, though, we will have to endure the Loftwing flight tutorial again. Because we have to learn how to fly our Loftwing. So, Zelda is going to talk again in Japanese about how to... Actually, just kidding.
Yeah, so Zelda can talk a bunch. However, we're not interested at all in what she's talking about.
Oh, I had the
She
whole
does
flight.
call us Mortgage, however.
I had the
She
whole
does.
flight speech pulled up and everything.
So, I can do this now. This is a thing I can do. I just jumped off of my bird within the tutorial, and I jumped off in a weird location because... There we go. I want to get over, like, outside of the bounding box, because there's a bounding box during the tutorial that tells you can't just fly anywhere. But that applies to your bird, not to you. I'm not a bird. I'm Mortgage, the hero of time, and I can jump wherever I want. So I jumped off of the bird, left the bounding box, splatted on that rock, don't worry about it, it's fine, and have now entered the Farron region. Now, this has been a very long and convoluted setup. One would think this would get us to the Farron region early. No! If we had done it normally, it would have been faster. But what it did do, importantly, was give us a way to enter the sky in a file that will enter the Loftwing flight tutorial immediately, which is going to be really important because that's going to keep the game from crashing for the rest of this route when we do something called Farron Bit, which we're about to do. Now, this is actually the most focused time of the run, so I'm going to copy a bunch of files seemingly randomly and hope everybody else is able to explain it.
Yeah, so for whatever reason, the sky, whenever you enter the sky in Bit, the game just crashes. There is no way past that. Unless you somehow manage to enter the Loftwing tutorial back in time. Which, I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense. Maybe the game only partially loads some part of the sky because you're not supposed to enter it. I don't know, whatever. Basically, the game does not crash, which is really good. Because that allows us to enter the sky back in time, which is absolutely great because we can access even more stuff in back in time. Whereas previously we were bound to only Skyloft, we can now access the sky and Farron as well because, well, why not? We have the Farron pillar unlocked, so we can jump off of a Loftwing. So why the heck should we not go to Farron? Important to that, however, is that we gotta make sure that the game that we have not previously entered Farron yet, or that the game does not remember that we previously entered Farron, because if we did enter Farron previously already, then the game would pull up a map and tell us, hey, where do you want to land? Unfortunately, if you do that, the game crashes. It's almost like this game really tends to crash. Who would have thought?
If you, at any time, pull up a map in back in time, it loads too many visual assets on the overlay at once because it's loading in the game HUD as well as the menu HUD at the same time, and it does not like that. So I can't enter a pillar I've entered before in back in time, and also I can't press the plus button because that's just a crash button. If I press the plus button for 2 frames at any time, I will crash. Link, push the log one more time. Thank you. This is called log jump.
Very nice.
It saves like no time, but it's cute. It skips a cutscene.
Yeah.
So now I'm in Farron. Farron is a little janky right now. This is a version of the map that you're never supposed to be on. And importantly, if I were to look at file 1 and face the camera in specific directions, it's gonna show me the Lake Floria doors opening cutscene. And if I do that twice, it'll soft lock. We're going to be very careful not to do that and make sure that anytime we need to face that direction, we are looking at a different file. We also, though, need to die, because remember how we judged that woman's furniture earlier? That was to set a flag that on this map has been reinterpreted because it saves locations in data, and these two things share a memory address, which is why we can do this. It shares a memory address with a vine being down, and we do not have a projectile, and doing the Kikwi quest to get a projectile is slow. So dying while looking at file 1 and restarting while back in time, yes, we died on the title screen, I'm definitely good at this game, is going to put that vine down for us, which means that we can continue on to the first dungeon on the title screen. Oh, hey, look, a vine. I'm so glad we judged that woman's furniture. Link has some interesting rope physics in this game. Don't worry about it. It makes perfect sense.
Yeah, this is also something that doesn't make any sense, because normally you can just, as you might have seen prior, where Pippy suddenly made blocks appear out of nowhere. Normally when you just select a file in back in time, it loads the stuff that was saved on that file into the memory basically, and then stuff just happens according to what was saved on that. And that is what happened with the logs. However, for whatever reason, that does not happen with the wine, and we need to reload the area.
Yeah, some of it's weird. There's a reason why that trick is called bit magic, because it's kind of magical and we don't 100% understand some of the decisions that went into it. By the way, I'm 2/3 of the way through the first dungeon right now. I skipped all of Farron, I skipped Deep Woods, I skipped quite a bit right now. But importantly, I also skipped loading half the dungeon, which does mean I can cut straight to the end, but also means that that I didn't load the tightrope that I need to cross. So I had to exit the room and re-enter. And then do this scary jump. We're good. And now there's a tightrope here. Exiting the room just forces it to reload all of the assets. Luckily, that Stalgia room is very quick, but it also reloads all the enemies. So say hi to Craig, say bye to Craig. This is gonna be our first safety save of the run. I am actually safety saving. I will also lie about safety saving sometimes, but this is not a lie. This one's real. Because, as you'll notice, I'm in hero mode, and in hero mode, you do take double damage. So I have 2 hearts, but essentially in most cases, that's 1 hit from death. And if I were to die right now, it would take me to Skyloft, which is bad. Now, everybody's favorite vine physics.
Love to see it.
Excuse me, please. So we don't have a projectile. We actually have no items and will not have any items for the entirety of this run. So I had to, instead of using the slingshot that you're supposed to use to hit that vine down, use a skyward strike and get enough range by jumping off of that platform and voiding out as I did it. Vines are really janky. This is the boss key, by the way. As I said, we just skipped over the entirety of this dungeon, pretty much. Let's watch if physics work. They worked!
Oh my god, dang. Let's go.
I'm just gonna re-safety save. I don't need to. Just for my own peace of mind. Anything can happen in a marathon run. By the way, this is our first of 2 boss keys. H, by the way.
H.
We only do 2. Our entire goal in this run is to get to Lanayru. So we need to get to Lanayru. But in order to get to Lanayru, we need to get the Amber Tablet, which we get from the first dungeon in Eldin. And in order to get to Eldin, we need the Ruby Tablet, which we get from defeating the first dungeon in Farron. So we're gonna do that. This is Girahim 1. I'm going to focus.
Yeah. So, Girim 1 in itself is not a difficult boss. However, when you're on 2 hearts, meaning he can kill you with just a single hit, and if you do not pay attention, he can easily kill you. He's also kind of RNG dependent, depending on whether he gives you darts or not. You love it if he does not give you darts. If he does give you darts like this, then you hate him, and you want to get as few of them as possible.
He also has a strangely familiar haircut.
Yeah, we don't get along. Bad Girahim. Oh, I missed one. Darn it. Bad Girahim.
Oh god. The darts.
Yeah.
Alright.
Okay, but motion controls.
I think that's 5.
Yeah. What?
6.
Oh, come on, my dude. There we go.
Right.
So he had 3 possible options he can pick from there. He can either throw darts, which wastes time. He can pose, which is very quick, or he could dash. And dashing I can respond to and deal him damage. If you pick slashing him from the wrong direction for any of those attacks, you die. Yay! Also, here's a heart container. Should I pick it up for safety? No, I won't. It actually would do nothing. So we're on file 3 right now. If anybody wasn't watching the files go by earlier, we're on file 3 right now. This is file 3. We're gonna be transferring our progress to file 1 before the end of the run. Now, when we transfer our progress, we actually can't transfer our heart total. So if I were to pick up that heart container, I would be wasting my time. I wouldn't get it for the important part of the run. But now that we've beaten the first boss, we can hit the first goddess crest and be rewarded with the ruby tablet, which will give us access to Eldin, as I said, and allow us to save our game and go back to Skyloft. We have to put the ruby tablet in that pedestal where we put the tablet at the beginning. But a very little known fact about this game is that it actually has a quick travel system. And I'm gonna show you how it works. So the first thing you do is you hit reset on your console. This is a quick travel system. Don't worry about it. The next thing you're going to do...
Only does not abuse any glitches.
Definitely not. The next thing you're going to do is load into a file that you have precariously placed at the top of a cliff and go splat. Good job, Link. You're doing great. And now we're going to enter Back in Time. And Back in Time, as we mentioned earlier, is going to put you on that funny Skyloft map. That funny Skyloft map also doubles as actual Skyloft. So we have entered Skyloft. This glitched cutscene, by the way, where it just like kind of, yeah, that's not what's supposed to be happening. It's...
Yeah, what do you mean? That looks totally intended.
Oh, yeah. The camera's definitely supposed to be there. It's trying to load in a like panoramic shot of the map, but it's out of bounds. So it's trying its best. So the next thing we're gonna do is, we've done this a couple times, which is called a reverse bit warp. And what I'm gonna do is start my file right before entering a loading zone, and it's gonna place me in that loading zone on actual file. So now I'm just here. This is, I'm not in Back in Time anymore. This is just the actual room.
Did you catch all that, passengers? That's how you do the fast travel.
Yes, that's fast travel. If you weren't paying attention, don't worry. We can go over it again. Though I would like to take a quick aside to acknowledge one of the reasons why we play this on hero mode is that we can skip cutscenes. Now, yes, that's fast, but also this cutscene is the color blue.
Beautiful.
This cutscene is a soft lock. It will not progress. I skipped the soft lock. We're good now.
Yeah, we're just that good. We just skip soft locks.
Yep.
That is the softest lock I've ever seen.
So now that we have warped back to Skyloft, we would actually like to warp to Eldin, which is the next place we're gonna go. Now, remember, there's a fast travel system. And step 1, say it with me, y'all. Splat.
Splat.
To die. Oh.
We're gonna be doing some little bit of shenanigans. We're going to actually go to Farron in order to go to Eldin, because we want to steal some coordinates from a save statue in Farron and take them with us to Eldin, so that when we spawn in Eldin, we're gonna spawn in a very specific location, which is going to skip all of Eldin. But while I'm doing some silly file shenanigans, Pride, this is a great time if you have any messages for us or any questions from the passengers to let us know.
Yes, absolutely. I would just like to take this time to remind everybody that we have a couple of bid wars that are open right now. For the Wind Waker, we have a file name incentive. You have an 8-character limit, and currently Yim Yam is in the lead with $40, but we have Hap Bear coming up behind. So if you would like to see your chosen file name of 8 characters on the Wind Waker, be sure to get those donations in and to mention it in your donation text.
Thank you very much. So, as we did previously, I'm just diving into the Farron pillar. Once again, I had to be clicked onto file 2 in order to load the sky, or else the game would crash. There's a whole lot of whatever file you are looking at when you enter a loading zone is going to determine what map it's going to try to load in the next area. So we're very carefully deciding what file to look at every time I exit a room, so that we're entering the correct map, so that we can do the things we want to do and get the places we want to go and don't crash. But here's the coordinates we wanted. So what I'm going to do is save file 3 at this statue. Because we're going to be doing the Earth Temple, the next dungeon, in file 3. And then we're going to take to the sky with file 2. Once again, because otherwise, say it with me now, we would crash. It's a little bit of a high wire act.
This game sure loves to do that.
So now we want to go to the Elden Pillar. But important fact, the Elden Pillar is invisible. So, it's going to be a little bit interesting to get to, but we can speed up the process by diving into this zipper rock, which is a little bit janky. It's actually slightly out of bounds for where the game wants you to be able to bring the Loftwing, which is why we can't just, like, bring the Loftwing over. My bird got stuck. Oh, there we go. Oh, there we go. We found it. We found the hole in the clouds.
Go.
And I just hit start during a very specific part of that cutscene, and now, welcome to the playable test for Breath of the Wild.
Yeah, we're just completely out of bounds here. Like, we took the coordinates we saved at in Farron and placed them basically on the Elden map, which is somewhere where you're totally not supposed to be.
Yeah, for some reason...
We're just completely out of bounds, and we're gonna play just out of bounds now.
It's very out of bounds to the left and up. So the entire map is to my right. And I don't want to actually do the map, so instead I'm going to run along this out of bounds geometry, which for some reason Link can walk on and run on. There's like a texture quality that hasn't been applied to it. Oh, that's one of the scariest tricks in the run right there. Yay! It's the little things that are scary in this run. But we got it, huzzah. That is the Elden out of bounds step up. But what I'm trying to do is get very high up Elden Volcano, which I'm gonna be, this is high enough. And I can side hop over that lava and get back in bounds. And now, if you are familiar with the vanilla game at all, we are at the top of the area. We've skipped like 2 whole side areas with a bunch of stuff. And now we've saved, because whenever you enter a new area, you really want to save your game, just in case somehow you die.
Or you just, I don't know, reset your game for whatever reason.
Yeah, anything.
Not that that would ever happen to us.
Anything can happen. So what the game wants us to do is use the digging mitts, which is an item we don't have, to dig up 5 key pieces so that we can get into, get into the Earth Temple.
Yeah,
we're
totally gonna dig up 5 key pieces now.
Yeah, that sounds fun. We're gonna go play in a sandbox. No, instead, we're going to go back in time, and we're gonna take a nap. We're just going to, use memory manipulation, to move a gravestone, which shares a memory address with that door that is locked by 5 key pieces being open on, the Elden map. So, once again, I do have to be very careful about what files I am opening when, because otherwise, this will crash. For
Yeah.
some reason, if Link is wearing the wrong outfit on this map, it crashes.
Captain, we have a concerned passenger asking that you please do not crash. That would be very bad on a flight.
Okay, yes, we're trying not to crash the plane. That cutscene means that it worked. The, like, trigger for that cutscene is so large that it includes outside for some reason. Anyway, welcome to the Earth Temple, also known by many runners as expected time loss, and because of that, I'm going to stop talking. Have fun, y'all.
Yeah, so Pippy is now gonna do a trick that no joke, we call it keys yeet. So basically, what we're gonna do, we are trying to lure a keys in here, and we want to use it to cut that rope over there with a Skyward Strike, if the keys would behave, that is.
That was
And
a
that actually
very
worked.
kind
Amazing.
keys.
That was incredible, in fact.
He is pure RNG where he chooses to fly, and if he picks an angle that doesn't work, I just have to wait for him to choose differently. Yeah, we're supposed to have the beetle by this point in the game, which is a projectile. I'm gonna wait for you to attack. See, that's not the attack I wanted. That's the attack I wanted. My sir, my good sir. Yes, yes, I see that.
While our captain is struggling with lizard issues, I would just like to point out to chat that key seat looks very easy. That trick is incredibly difficult. Pippy made that look effortless. It can take a very long time. It was incredible.
At one point, it was thought to be TAS only. Well, essentially what we're doing is we can't angle a Skyward Strike upward, usually. But if we're targeting an enemy that's above us, we can. So we're trying to line up that keys. His name is Archibald C. Yeatington. Between me and the rope that I was trying to cut, so that my Skyward Strike would go through Archibald and then through the rope. So that I can skip having the beetle, because there's an interesting quirk with how items work in this game, that when you pick up the first intended item, which is the slingshot, it also gives you access to the B-wheel, which is what allows you to select what item you would like to use. If we were to pick up a B-wheel item, without access to the B-wheel, we would soft lock. Which is why this route is completely itemless. It would be sure nice if we had bombs. What I'm doing now, though, is essentially exactly what I did before. We're taking another nap, because we're now on a different map. So that flag that opened the door earlier, coincidentally on this map, does other stuff that's very important. It's gonna raise a bridge. You'll see it in just a moment. There's a whole cutscene to show you that I raised the bridge successfully. We can do it with the same exact thing we did before. So now that we've loaded in, we'll load right next to this bridge, which is not raised.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What are we gonna do?
Whatever. Oh, and I die. Knew I should have safety saved first. What happens if I continue? Oh, hey, look, a bridge.
Beautiful.
So,
How convenient.
Yep, it needed to reload the area, so it shows you the bridge as if you had raised it properly, and then you just need to reload the area, which the fastest way to do that is dying. And then it puts the bridge in the place it should be. Now I'm gonna have to do the rest of Earth Temple without bombs, which is the item you're supposed to get at the beginning of Earth Temple. We skipped that whole area, don't worry about it. And and you're supposed to use bombs to like clear out an alcove over here, but Skyward Sword has this really interesting property where instead of solving puzzles intended, we can try screaming.
Screaming is always good.
Have you ever tried using your leg muscles?
That worked. That's something called stutter sprinting. And as a unfortunate byproduct, it is a little bit slow, but it allows us to have more stamina than we're supposed to. So we just ignored the entire alcove we were supposed to stop at, and now we can pick up this chest that is definitely not booby-trapped and is totally safe. And then we can go to the boss room. Oh no. It seems I'm in an Indiana Jones movie.
Oh no.
Da 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 da.
Okay, I need you to know that my brain just filled that in with like Korok noises. It's like da 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 da, yeah,
Da 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 da. Yeah, ha ha.
All right, now we are doing another legitimate safety save, because this boss can be rude, because you're supposed to have bombs during it. Bombs are an item. Oh, hold on, let me fix my motion controls. I am holding the Wiimote forward right now.
Great.
Thank you.
You'd love to see it.
Oh, there we go. D, by the way. This is the D-shaped key.
Passengers, please deploy your Ds in chat.
But now we're gonna fight Skaldera, and what you're supposed to do is use bombs to break his armor and then feed to him like Dodongo style to deal him damage. We don't have bombs of our own, but luckily the stage provides some extras at the top that we can use instead. Now, they're supposed to only be there so that you can refill your bomb bag mid-fight in a casual playthrough. But if we want to use them the entire time, we have to be a little bit over the top about abusing some timers and damage cycles to make sure that Skaldera is constantly in a state where we can damage him. Otherwise, oh, I ran out of stamina. Otherwise, we will softlock. There are many ways to softlock this fight. Some of them are very amusing. But first, Girahim has the longest dialogue in the game. He likes to talk. How are y'all doing, passengers?
Our passengers seem to be slightly disturbed at what I said earlier. I would like you all to know that I am not sorry.
All right. Once again, I'm gonna focus just a little bit because Skaldera's a mean meatball, and sometimes this fight requires a little improv.
So ideally, we're gonna have 3 cycles in here with Skaldera.
Which direction we going? Oh, that's a nice direction. I like that one. You can pick left, right, or center. My personal favorite is left, which he very kindly did. I'm gonna play it safe and just let him walk into the bombs. It's faster to throw them at him, but sometimes it makes things get a little janky. And in a marathon setting, I don't need extra jank. I'm now gonna allow him to step on me. I swear that's intended. And I'm definitely not damaging down for any reason. Don't worry about it. So now he is at the bottom and I can no longer hit him with bombs, but it's okay because he's dead.
A beautiful tricycle.
Yep.
And that deserves the beautiful tricycle game.
We're gonna mortgage the tricycle as well.
Yes. Yes, we will be mortgaging the tricycle. Now, once again, he's going to offer us a heart container for beating the boss, and once again, we are on file 3, and we don't care. What we did there was by damaging him within a certain window after he enters vulnerability, we can freeze the timer that tells him when to stop being vulnerable, so that when he gets to the bottom, the timer restarts, and he's still vulnerable. Which is why we can hit him when we're not supposed to be able to, by just like flinging a Skyward Strike at him. It's very weird, and I don't pretend to understand how it works. We didn't soft lock, that's the important part.
Streamer, can you please elaborate on the importance of jumping to the right there?
That's called the swag hop. If you don't hop to the right, you have no swag. And I need all of you to know that I have swag, apparently. So, always hop to the right.
Well, while Fi is talking to us, do we have a moment for a quick donation?
Of course we do.
We have a $50 donation from Rebecca, who says, wishing you the best with Bear Force 1 Marathon. Thank you so much, Rebecca, for donating to help Happy Bear out.
Thank you so much. Really appreciate all donations. Thank you for making this event possible. And we have exited the dungeon, and we are now re-entering the dungeon to save our game. And then light our butt on fire. On flyer? Yeah, light our butt on flyer.
We are currently flying, yes.
We're flying through the game. So now that I have lit my butt on fire, oh, what a big surprise. I'm going to re-enter back in time. I'm going to do a thing I did earlier, which is bonk a tree. That wasn't a mistake, if anybody caught that earlier. What that does is load in some flags from file 1, and then I'm going to pick up a rupee with file 3 on this one, which is going to update my inventory on the title screen to match that of file 3. And the importance of this is that my inventory in file 3 has the Amber tablet, which we just acquired for beating Scaldera. So we would like to have that back in time, so that we can do essentially what we did earlier, which is called reverse bit magic, which is the thing where I start my file and then set a flag. So, once again, putting down the tablet doesn't do anything other than look very funny. Good job, Link. It's invisible. The game's trying its best. But once again, we're going to wait for a specific part of the cutscene that is forming up the Amber Pillar, the pillar to the Lanayru region, and then I'm going to hit start. Right there, and that is going to place that on my file 1. Now, I left file 1 here for safekeeping a long time ago, like at the very beginning of the run. When we first got to Farron, I dumped file 1 here while I was back in time, specifically so that I could go to the sky. I know it's in Japanese, but I went to the sky. Now, file 1 has never been in the sky while a pillar was active before, so Fi is gonna tell us how we can go to the Farron region. The one I just left. Importantly, though, file 1 cannot actually call my Loftwing, so if I were to jump off of my Loftwing right now, we'd just fall forever, and I would have to go reload the file. We don't want to do that. Instead, we want to go to the nice, big, pretty Amber Pillar over there, and ignore everything Fi said, because...
Another interesting side effect is that we are completely unable to enter Elden on this file, because there is simply no Elden Pillar. We do not concern about Elden. Elden is non-existent.
No Elden here. We went straight from Farron to Lanayru. Now, I said that our goal of this run was to get to Lanayru. The reason for that is not because of any dungeon or progression thing. No, we're done with dungeons. We're done. Dungeons.
No more dungeons.
No more dungeons.
We're dungeon?
Yes. We're gonna save our game because we enter a new area, and we might die here, so always good to save your game. And we're going to do something, earlier I mentioned a reverse bit warp, that we've done a couple of times. Oh, it ate my bit. That is okay. Of all the things to go wrong, that is a pretty easy one to fix. Because we did just save our game.
Well, while we are fixing our bit, do we have time for another quick donation?
Of course we do.
We have a $250 donation from FTab, who says, I love Aleals.
Thank you so much, FTab. We're gonna pin some extra bonks just for FTab.
Just for FTab. That also brings us up to a grand total of $2,300 raised during Bear Force 1.
Oh my goodness, y'all. Thank you so much. Okay, now we've entered back in time for real. We can actually no longer bonk a tree to unlock a gate, but just for FTab. That didn't do anything. So we have to go back to what we were doing the first time we were in bit, which is voiding out over this wall, which for some reason spawns us on the other side of the wall. Now, we did a reverse bit warp earlier. Now we're going to do a regular bit warp, not the reverse kind, which is very easy to do, actually. We're going to go up to the save statue and hit start and save at the same time. And it's going to apply me to the map that I was on, which is this one, but with the coordinates of that save statue that I saved in front of on Skyloft, which puts me way out of bounds. We're not in back in time, so I can show you on the map. We're not on the map.
Welcome to Out of Bounds, the game.
So now we go for a nice little jog. Which is a nice moment to mention. All of this run, I've been doing some stamina management with this little lime that you see here. The stamina in this game is interesting in that the last quarter of my stamina lime depletes at half the rate as the rest of the lime, but it refills at the same rate. So essentially, if I'm only using the last quarter, I am getting a 2-for-1 deal on my stamina. So that's what I'm trying to do anytime I'm running long distances. This used to be a huge part of the run. It's barely relevant anymore. But now we have gotten into an area we are definitely not supposed to be in. This is Lineru Caves, and we're going to immediately leave because the rocks here don't exist. And we're going to go to another late game area, Lineru Gorge. And we're gonna spend some time here. We're gonna save our game because, you know, we entered a new area. It's good to save your game. And then we're going to go meet my personal best friend. Link, please. Excuse me. Link. My best friend and I are having a spat. There we go. Thank you. That's a cactus. I know what a cactus is. We're going to be spending a lot of quality time with the cactus. But now we're going to be doing something called Fast Farron Bit, which is a little bit, it's the newest addition to this route. It's only a couple months old and is a little bit nerve-wracking. That being said, there's nothing stopping me from retrying it if I mess it up, so it's all safe. So I have bonked that tree to watch a cutscene, and now gonna hit file 2 at the last second there because we have to wait for a menu to load in, unfortunately. And now we are already in the sky, and my motion controls are a little wonky, but that is why we do extra claps for a marathon.
Yeah, the diving is not as easy as it looks like. You actually gotta pay attention where you go on.
Yeah, see,
and, yeah.
the actual pillar is way over there. Oh gosh.
Oh.
Okay, hold on. We're gonna look at this. This should be fine. We can back things up. Oops, that's not what I meant to do. Don't worry. This is
Another
all
fun thing is, you are not allowed to advance the Zelda text too much.
Yes. If I hit A too many times, for whatever reason, Zelda will decide that she is done with our Loftwing tutorial. Oh my goodness. My Loftwing tutorial, and then the game will try to put me into the wing ceremony cutscene. Where did this pillar go?
You just have
I'm
to
not
manage.
sure what is happening right now. Don't worry about it. Expected time loss. But if we hit A too many times, it will crash the console. But luckily, because we are on the file screen, if that were to happen, I can actually just start a file before it crashes and then try again. Okay, now we have way too much height, but that is okay. I would much rather that situation. We also do the majority of our diving on the splash screen where possible, which is kind of a double-edged sword, because if I sit on this screen for too long, it'll start playing... Oh no.
Oh.
Uh-oh.
Oh. I did.
That is amazing.
I did not want to summon it. I'm very sorry for that.
That's very funny. That is okay. Don't worry, everyone. That was a very silly thing to happen, but I would like to say, because I have the opportunity to, that's never happened before. I've been running this game for a year.
We did it. We got one.
All right, let's try this again. This is why we set generous estimates. Again, if anything can go wrong in this run, I would much rather it be that than any of the stuff at the beginning. But once again, we're just gonna do fast Farron bit, which didn't turn out being that fast. That was very funny timing. So we'll click on file 1. Here we are actually balancing soft locks. If I don't click on file 1 there, it will soft lock the game by playing a cutscene that it has no way of actually doing a dismount from. All right, that seems a lot better. Let's fly and dive. Oh, look at that. That's clean. That's what we like to see. Sometimes the motion controls just get like weirdly desynced. I've had PBs where like I'm skydiving, but I'm holding my entire Wiimote backwards.
Sounds very fun.
But,
it sounds like Skyward Sword, if I'm being honest.
Yeah. All right, there we go. Much better.
Yeah. Basically, we're now in a sequence of the game where we're just gonna do 4 back in times, back to back.
Yes.
I guess you could say they're back to back in times.
Yes, they are. So, what we are trying to do is enter into the boss rush minigame. Now, in order to do that, we have to change a couple of things about our file. So the first thing, ultimately, what we need to do is save the Thunder Dragon. In order to save the Thunder Dragon, we need to move a minecart. In order to move the minecart, we need to spawn a minecart, and we also need to get a rock out of its way. This rock right here is not the rock. Excuse me. I would like to blow up this rock, though. Cactus, you're really not cooperating with me today. But I did blow up that rock. That was something called a commit. So when I blew up that rock, I can quick show you. That explosion was the rock we wanted to blow up, blowing up. I blew it up with my mind.
This cactus sure is acting up for something within mortgaging range.
We just took the explosion,
my best friend,
and placed it somewhere else.
Yes. So that was our first back in time. We're now going to immediately do another one because we're going to do all those things I said in reverse order. So next up, that we cleared the way for the minecart, we need to spawn the minecart where we want it to be. We can't actually spawn it at the end of the tracks, which is where we ultimately want it to be, because that will not do anything. But we can spawn it right before the end of the tracks, and then push it over the end of the tracks. So the way we're going to do that is by saving a Kiwi. This is the only time in this route that we get to interact with Kiwis.
Let's go.
I hope everybody likes Kiwis.
Oh, as you can see from my profile picture, I'm an absolute Kiwi hater.
I see. So, Floha, in your educated opinion, what is the best Kiwi?
I'm gonna go vanilla and say Machi.
Oh, you're a Machi fan. I'm personally an Ulo fan. She's got really good. She's got like a mohawk, and she's really fast to interact with. I really like Ulo. All of the Kiwis. We got a Yerbil lover on, Mike.
I love Plant Yoda.
All of the Kiwis are named after teas, so Oolong is also the best tea. Don't at me. So
We have Lopsa fans in the passenger cabin right now.
oh, we got some Lopsa. You know what? Lopsa's a pretty good choice. I know some people who enjoy Lopsa. I'm not a big Erla person. Erla's not my cup of tea. This is the only time we're going to really do regular combat in this entire run. I need y'all to know this, that this is the only combat we do. That's Machi, and he's being accosted by two Bokos. Because we have the upgraded Skyward Strike, all we have to do is run away and then hit them with not the actual blade, but the projectile, and it will do more damage. And then we're gonna start our file and then clear that text box, and it is going to set a flag for us. Once again, we do have to make another change to the map for it to acknowledge that we set that flag. So we're gonna bonk a pillar. That was for F-tab. Not collect the dollar, that doesn't matter. And resave our game. And now we're actually not going to do an RBM, which is what we have been doing. We're going to do another bit warp because we would like to be out of bounds again. We are actually on a different map now, though. We're on the Lanayru Gorge map instead of the Lanayru Mines map. That's where we were previously, yeah? There's a lot of Lanayru. Lanayru is very big. But once again, that just means we're going to go over to the save statue at the top of the academy and save and start our game at the same time. It is very coincidental and really convenient that this save statue's coordinates are just really useful. And it's really easy to get to. I'm really glad we don't have to go steal coordinates from Farron more often.
Yeah. It's just, I don't know, this statue is just so conveniently placed. It has everything. It's all you ever need. If you need one bird statue in your entire life, it's this bird statue.
So what we're doing now is called Jank Jump, because we would like to get up onto that little wall that's in front of me. But it is too high to jump, but it's going to slope downwards over here. We're out of bounds this entire time. But unfortunately, the exact moment that it becomes within jumping range, it becomes not scalable collision. So we're gonna do a funky setup.
Yeah, for some reason the devs thought, nope, enough collision, we're gonna end it right here.
Hopefully this is good. Oh, nope, hold on. There we go.
There we go, nice.
I was able to fix it. No idea why that works.
Passengers, if you would like the runner to make Kiwi noises, I'm sure that if you donate, we can convince her to do so.
That is true. There is a tiny Kiwi inside of me, and sometimes it makes sounds. if you would like Kiwi noises, hey, donate telling me your favorite Kiwi. I can try to impersonate that Kiwi as long as it is not Buka or Yerbil.
I think that I can cover those if it comes to it.
I mean, you do not want one to pew.
Oh, we're gonna do the hard break slide because, oh dear.
Oh.
Don't worry about it.
Ooh.
Link. Some days break slides don't want to work.
Might have still worked.
It did?
I know the
No, it didn't.
No.
Okay.
No,
Hold on,
I just know that it's very.
It is very permissive, but we do have to. There we go. That'll work. So that's called a break slide. It is somehow giving you negative momentum forward.
There we go.
Don't ask me how. That's a trick that works in a lot of 3D Zelda games. That is the only part of this run in which we use it, is doing that. And normally it's a little bit easier than it was there, but I accidentally jumped onto that upper area, which means I had to go further. It's an interesting time. But this is the minecart that we spawned, and voiding out near that door spawned the minecart for us. Again, this game is coded so well, I don't understand why that works. But we have to guide this minecart along, and then we're going to go sit on a chair. And the next thing that we're going to be doing after this is called Girahim 3 Escape Sequence, and is the newest major overhaul that this route got. And I am going to give my co-pilot and attendant here decision power over how much health I'm gonna have for Girahim 3 Escape. What's your feel?
I think, 2.5 hearts, maybe.
2.5? That's a lot of health.
It is a lot of health.
So I did save at 2.5 hearts, but of note, we are going to take 2 hearts of damage. So whatever health I have now is going to be 2 hearts more than what I'm going to fight the final gauntlet with. So any extra health is good safety. Now that we did that, we're going to go do Fast Farron bit again. To do one more thing, and we can start talking about what Girahim 3 escape sequence is and why it breaks this route a lot. It saved like 12 minutes or something off of world record when it was found. It was found by Your Average Link. Shoutouts to Yao. But essentially, we are going to enter the Girahim 3 fight within the boss rush minigame. Oh, we're a little off again. That is okay. We're fine. And in that, this is fine.
This is fine. Ah, there it is. All right.
There we go. Look at that.
As long as you can see it, it's always good.
Yup.
Well, things are fine, and before we get into the final gauntlet, do we have time for a quick donation?
Oh yes, it's a great time to sneak one in.
We have $50 from Crane WWR, who says $50 towards Swim Swam as the Wind Waker file name. Also, make the Kiwi sound, please.
Well, since you said please. There you go. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. Also, Swim Swam is an excellent name. I fully support it. Coming up after this is going to be Wind Waker, which is also going to be super broken. I love Wind Waker runs. I will be hanging around to watch that. So, yes.
And I do believe that $50 does put Swim Swam in the lead for that.
We're gonna swim the swam. But thank you very much again. So we're gonna actually do a bit interaction much like the one at the beginning. It's a nice bookend to this run. We are once again going to die back in time to spawn in that vine because we will be once again going into deep woods, but not to do the same thing we did last time. But so what Girahim 3 escape sequence is you enter into the Girahim 3 minigame fight in the boss rush minigame, and then instead of killing Girahim, we would like to get out of bounds at the bottom of the map. This is a little bit complicated because Girahim actually has a void plane that exists a set distance below him. So while we want to get to the bottom of the map, we cannot actually get lower than a certain point below Girahim. So we have to move Girahim down the map by doing some funky platform manipulation. And the reason we want to get to the bottom of the map is because the out of bounds, there is a save statue that is in a little box. And we would like to be in that box so we can save and quit our game. When we load back into our game, we will not be in the boss rush minigame. We will be in the actual boss rush, or the actual boss gauntlet. It'll put us in the real fight. So we're gonna escape the simulation and get to the real thing. Now, we get confirmation that this works because Fi is gonna come out and tell us. At least I assume that's what she's saying. I don't speak Japanese. And then we're going to stab, please. Stab this minecart. And oh boy, we rescued this thunder dragon.
Let's go.
I
did
will
so much.
take the extra health just in case. We're gonna do a lot of safety just in case something goes wrong. And we're also gonna safety save. Safety saving here really doesn't do that much, but it stops one specific fail case that could bork my files. So we don't want to do that. So safety saving is just extra safe. So this is the Thunder Dragon. He's going to tell us how scary his minigame is, and about how we won't be able to use any of our late game items should we choose to play.
What late game items?
What items?
Yeah.
You mean you can't use your bow or your whip or your master sword or your potions or your
What?
shields?
I'm
well,
sorry, good sir, but I have never heard of this before.
He
this
does
doesn't
also
ring any bell.
say he's letting us use whatever shield we want.
What's a shield?
Ah, that's very useful.
Yeah, I've never heard of that. Okay, we're gonna do Girahim 3 escape. So the first step is to roll past him and turn around because, do you see that rock structure on the wall behind him? I want him to fall off in that general direction. The next step is to resync my motion controls because we're going to be asking them to be quite specific. And now we wait. We are waiting for Girahim's feet to touch the floor, and then we are going to count to 4, and for some reason, this manipulates platforms. I don't know why.
The platforms in the platform logic is kinda janky.
That was not great, but it's probably perfectly
Because as you might see, or as you might have seen, the longer you take, the platforms are not supposed to be that far down. So the platforms tend to rise up, and especially they also tend to rise to the middle again.
Oh, he's being rude, so we're just actually gonna reset by voiding out. That's gonna put us both back up at the top. It's gonna also cover for the fact that my motion controls desynced halfway through that, so don't worry. Once again, we kind of get a good bit of help on this trick in terms of being able to retry. Gonna try this one more time. Unfortunately, resetting means I can't just look at the timer to know when I'm supposed to drop down, so I actually have to count, which is very difficult because I'm a speedrunner. 2, 3, 4, drop, turn, and slappy, 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 slappy.
Alright,
that's perfect.
Better.
So on that one, I want to hit him off right before the platform starts rising, because that's what the manipulations are doing, is making it so that the platform goes into the center and then rises, instead of going up first or doing both at once. Which is how we're getting the platforms to move lower and lower. So 3, 4. Much better. This one I want to hit him off immediately, and what I'm doing here is just manipulating where Girahim will land on this platform in specific, so that when I do this next jump, which audience participation is mandatory on this, by the way. Ready?
Mandated.
1, 2. Whee!
Whee!
Heck Excellent. So manipulating where he was there just forced him to do a punch exactly where I thought he would, and now we are out of bounds and this is a save statue. That was Girahim 3 escape.
Very nice.
So that makes it a little bit easier for me to predict, and also that punch cannot hit me because I was still in iframes. So if I force him to punch early, it's much better. But you can tell that this is the real boss and not the minigame because there's no timer at the top anymore. But I am out of bounds, and I would like to be not out of bounds. So I'm gonna shove my butt in a corner. Excellent.
Beautiful.
Inbounds is boring, I would like to leave. So I'm gonna go over here. I'll look at that.
Yeah,
Easy.
so what we need to do now is we need to like find Girahim again, so to say. We need him like we need to like actually find him, and then we can start fighting with him again.
Yes,
He's like currently in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, if I
we need
hold
to make
the
him
Z
respawn.
button, oh no, it did. Link can't see him apparently. Yeah, he is at the top center of the stage right now, and we can't get him over to us. But sometimes, if you go for a nice jog, you fall in a pit in the ground, and then Girahim comes to make sure you're okay and pull you out of the pit.
That's so nice of him.
Yeah, excuse me, Girahim. Now I would like to hit him over to the edge.
Girahim also just starts to levitate in here, kind of.
Yeah. All right. We bonked him back in bounds. Now, if I dealt damage to him out of bounds, say it with me now, the game would crash. So I've hit him back in bounds and flung myself back in bounds. Excuse me there? What was that?
Classic Girahim. Yeah, and now you can actually see like how the platform in a panic starts to rise up again towards the middle and all. It really wants to make sure that you do not go anywhere you are not supposed to be. But we do not care about that anymore.
I also am doing what I call the silly funny strat on those, which is grabbing the edge before the platform grows, which makes Girahim stand up immediately and start sliding, which is both slightly faster and very funny. All right, time for the hardest trick in the run. I'm not kidding. Unfortunately. Let's see how this goes. We have backups. Oh, hold on. Please hold.
Yeah. So what we want to do is we want to hit Girahim with a goddess strike, because our sword is basically nothing more than a 2-pick. And yeah, it doesn't do much damage. What does, however, do damage is goddess strike. And conveniently, they also stun-lock Girahim.
Yeah, we're doing a Skyward Stab, which is a weird thing that the game really doesn't tell you can do.
Can we get a show of hands in the passenger cabin for anybody who knew that you could Skyward Stab?
So this fight rather is damage-based rather than hit-based. Excuse me. And we deal no damage.
Very nice, very nice.
Wasn't an ideal fight, but I'll take it. He was kind of nice to us with RNG. So that's why this fight is a slog, an absolute slog. And now the second phase, we have no way to stun lock him on. We just have to do this a bunch. Luckily though, the next fight after this is Demise. Yes, it's the end of the game. So Demise is not damage-based, it is hit-based, so the game does not care that we have the rinky-dink little toothpick from the beginning of the game that we just kept. I have to do stamina saver. There we go. and is going to take the same amount of time regardless. So it's a nice little reward for having done
maybe
this.
just like as an information, if you do this with the sword that you are supposed to have at this point, your aim only takes 2 hits in this phase.
Yeah. Yeah.
Opposed to the 8 we are doing.
Yeah, it takes like 28 damage or something like that. 26. I don't remember. There's math involved. But okay. Here goes nothing. This is the final fight, and it's pretty fast. So I hope you're ready.
The mice versus 2 pigs.
Okay, I had to improv a little bit, but that's fine. We don't mind a little bit of improv. And that's the hardest part, so here we go. Easy baby game from now on.
Yeah, I love this fight. It's just really
Oh,
cool
it's
how
so
you can
good.
beat this big, bad, evil guy in like basically under a minute.
And time.
Time. GG.
That has been Skyward Sword, more or less, all the way through.
Very, very well done.
Had a couple of hiccups along the way, but that's to be expected for a marathon run. Thank you everyone so much for joining us in Killing Demise. He's gonna disintegrate now, and the game is going to give us the true Master Sword for the cutscene for some reason, even though we haven't seen that for the entire run. But thank you everyone so much for having us on Bear Force 1. Thank you so much for showcasing this run. It's my favorite category of my favorite speed game. It's so good. So good. So much nonsense. Pride, Floha, advertise yourselves.
Sure. Hi, my name is TheKingsPride. I stream on Twitch sometimes at twitch.tv/TheKingsPride.
Yeah, I guess I'm Floha. You can find me on twitch.tv/Floha258. I used to be a Zelda speedrunner, but kind of have branched out and probably now known more as a Fire Emblem runner, I guess. And yeah, that's basically it.
And Pippy, where can they find you?
You can find me later today on this very channel. I'll be back filling the flight attendant seat for our finale. But if you want to find me in other places doing assumedly this or some variation of Skyward Sword goodness, I stream on twitch.tv/PippyInATopHat. This is my top hat. Those are also top hats. And, you know, I'm around the internet anywhere. Oh, hey, look, the Master Sword. But thank you again, everybody, so much for watching. We have been very honored to be here, and I hope y'all are ready for some more Zelda goodness, because y'all are in good hands with Mini Mini and Wind Waker. So have a great one, y'all.